Consider how a new kind of nostalgia is not just remembered, but manufactured, designed into our screens, our furniture, even our digital selves. What was once an accidental byproduct of time and use has been replaced with intentional signs of wear. Cracks, rust streaks, faded paper textures, all generated in a second on a screen. We no longer need to wait for objects to age, because the market anticipates our longing. It simulates history before we even touch the product. This is not just aesthetic nostalgia, once suggested that stills have meaning beyond their role as film fragments. They carry a kind of obtuse meaning that lingers outside the narrative. Apply this to how we now treat digital artifacts. Static textures, grain overlays, and pixelated edges aren't just style choices. They are signifiers that speak for time in absence of time itself. They give us something to hold on to, an illusion of history, a shortcut to trust. We don't notice the deception because it's so well designed. The machine has learned not only how
Machine learning bias often stems from skewed or non-representative training data, which can inadvertently encode historical prejudices into algorithmic decisions, making transparency in data curation and
Back in the early days of digital music production, MIDI files were pristine and mechanical, too clean for human ears to stomach. So engineers began adding a MIDI humanization, tweaking timing and velocity to mimic natural imperfection. This was one of the first algorithmic attempts to spoof authenticity, making machines sound more like people. The logic was simple. If we can't trust a perfect performance, maybe we should fake a few stumbles instead. It's a small lie in service of something that feels real. Here's what happens when you let an algorithm lie for a living. Today's AI doesn't just mimic handwriting. It invents misspellings, fakes hesitation in voice cloning, and simulates unsteady brushstrokes in digital art. These flaws are not accidents, but features, coded imperfections that pass as authenticity. The machine knows we trust fallibility more than perfection. It leans into this paradox to fool us into thinking it's real. It's like a mirror held up to human irrationality. The more we catch these fakes, the better they get at hiding. It's an arms race. Detection breeds sophistication, and sophistication breeds new deception. The machine learns from our skepticism, adapting its flaws to avoid suspicion. What was once a subtle trick becomes invisible by design. We're not just looking for authenticity anymore. We're chasing ghosts of ourselves in code. And what makes it so convincing? It's the same thing that made us trust that MIDI note delay, because it's almost, but not quite, perfect.
The global layoff wave is no longer limited just to Silicon Valley. Now, one of the world's biggest international banks is preparing deep job cuts as artificial intelligence reshapes the workplace. Standard Chartered is preparing a major restructuring drive. The bank is pushing deeper into artificial intelligence and automation. It plans to reduce more than 15% of its corporate function roles by 2030. That could result in more than 7,000 job cuts across its...
We have a new human being, and that's Chris Potter of Memetics Corporation, a new synthesizer, the Yamaha DX100, and a new computer, the Commodore Amiga.
Neil Postman warned that technopoly doesn't just replace tools, it replaces thought. In his book, he describes how television turned discourse into performance, reducing ideas to spectacle. Today's nostalgia is the same kind of weaponized simplicity, a curated aesthetic pasted onto new technology like a warm-up jacket for cold machinery. The result: we feel comforted by the digital, not because it works well, but because it smells faintly of 1972. That vintage button on your social media app isn't, while we're being sold history. Actual cultural memory is getting lost in the algorithmic shuffles. Authentic artifacts are replaced with aesthetic imitations that never age. Think of how TikTok's filters let you look like a Victorian gentleman or a 1980s housewife without ever having lived it. These aren't memories, they're mood tags. The problem isn't just that we mistake these simulations for real history, but that the real stuff is being erased in favor of what looks authentic enough, has turned authenticity into a performance art. Anyone can now create aged content with the click of a button. And because everyone does, we start to believe that anything not digitally aged is inauthentic. It's a paradoxical arms race. The more we perfect artificial patina, the more alien we become to real history. As Roland Barthes said, significance is a process through which language works. And now that language is being rewritten by machines trained on pastiches. We no longer remember. Roland Barthes wrote that photography captures a that has been an object made real through its passage into the past. But what happens when we no longer need objects to age? What if patina is no longer earned but applied? Like digital texture or a filter in post-production. In this manufactured nostalgia, history becomes a design element rather than a lived experience. If every chair, every photograph, every film set bears the same uniform signs of decay, what meaning does real history hold when everything looks used? It's something we curate. The death of Barthes' punctum, that accidental detail which pierces the viewer and makes a photograph uniquely memorable, marks a crucial shift. In a world where every imperfection is algorithmically generated. Nothing surprises, because everything was always intended to feel meaningful. This is not just about aesthetic preferences. It's about how we construct emotional truth in our lives. When nostalgia becomes optimized for impact rather than experience, the raw edges is no longer built through lived history, but mass-produced sentimentality. We risk losing the ability to mourn. As Baudrillard warned, simulation replaces the real with a phantom of itself, and in doing so, empties out meaning entirely. We're not just collecting nostalgia anymore. We're hoarding it like a currency that never loses value because it was always designed for us. But if every object tells the same story, what room is left for unique memory? What happens when the past becomes an option selected from a menu?